very much, Monica, for the introduction, and a very good morning to everybody from Austria, Leoben. My name is Mariaelena Murphy, and I'm the Education Portfolio Manager here at the Resources Innovation Centre at the Montan Universität in Austria, and I currently have in my portfolio 12 projects that all aim to implement and develop new teaching and learning pathways for the future of T-shaped engineers. And I'm here today to introduce you to our paper, and my co-author, you will have just heard as well, is Corina Packer, who works for the Lifelong Learning Centre at the TU Graz. So today I'm going to be talking to you about bridging the gap brain drain to brain circulation, researching successful strategies to support effective change. The purpose of this study was to identify significant recommendations for an EIT project called the Master Enter, and it was to investigate for the key stakeholders, alumni, professionals and students from the engineering field located in 4 East-Southeast European regions, and in addition also Finland, Austria and Germany, to see about already effective strategies to mitigate brain drain in these regions. So as we all know, with the coming of the European Union, the free movement of people and goods throughout Europe saw mass movements of people, highly skilled people, from different sectors leaving their home country to seek jobs or opportunities in other countries. This also, of course, is not just indicative for business, but also for the engineering. So highly skilled engineers were moving out of their countries and to more prosperous locations. The idea in this study was to investigate what the phenomenon is itself, and also to study that and then study the groups that we were looking and addressing as well, in order to create a survey and gather information and see whether we could find congruences in that information with the secondary research. So again, using the key stakeholders, which were the students of the current universities within the project. And as you can see from here, there were 7 universities in total. There was the Technical University in Freiburg, Germany, Miskolc in Hungary. There was the University of Technology La Parenta in Finland. There was the Technical University in Bosnia-Herzegovina, the Technical University of Košice, the Montan University, and the Dnipro University in the Ukraine as well. So these were our target audiences to be looked at. In total, we reached 251 people and received 99 full responses, which provided input by means of a structured questionnaire survey with structured questionnaires. The results were analysed on the basis of the target group and their roles in the RM sector or the field of studies in the countries that we examined. Our study was carried out within the EIT Raw Materials Project Open Easy Region Master for Maintenance Engineering. And that project, funded project, started in 2018. And the EIT funding will end in 2022, whereby the master will still be available and will continue on. The master itself has different project and program aims. So it is also born out of the fact of trying to mitigate brain drain of local communities and to promote the circular economy in the EASY regions. It was also to release qualified professionals with an entrepreneurial mindset, even if it be that they work for a company, but preferably to create startups and encourage that within the EASY region, and to support obviously commercial know-how and technology transfer. But as I said, our part in that as the Montan University was to address the brain drain aspect of it and see if there were strategies that we could devise in order to help the program, the project, and the people in it. So brain drain, what is it? Well, the Cambridge Oxford Dictionary gives the definition that it's the situation in which large numbers of educated and very skilled people leave their own country to live and work in another one where the pay and the conditions are better. So that means that people who have availed of the educational assistance take that education and bring it then to a different country where they perceive that the conditions are better or where they would have better opportunities. That is not only for professionals, but also for graduates, so for students. So students review, where can I best get my education? And more often than not, they seek out education in where they perceive the universities have a better standing, so that they have a better network and they have more possibilities or opportunities upon graduation. So this kind of pulls the students and the professionals out of their region, and that is what we went about to examine. So as I said, the data was collected within the EIT Raw Materials funded project, which is a Raw Materials Academy project. So this also had the support of the EIT Raw Materials Academy. So it was to study what is actually brain drain, what is the phenomenon itself, to identify already proven successful strategies, to investigate the outcomes of those strategies, and to see what would be relevant for the master enter and the consortium partners themselves. This was done in a two-phase, a pilot test phase, and then a second phase in which we targeted the countries and the partners from the consortium. This was carried out using the various secondary research, but we heavily relied on addressing brain drain, the local and regional dimension for the European Committee of which had carried out a research over several years and collected from different European countries on a local, regional, national level strategies, successful strategies that were implemented and proven. So together with that, we were able to develop surveys that utilize the information from the secondary research. We conducted also interviews and had talks with people who actually chose not to leave their home countries and those that chose to leave their home countries. And we also used our own network to also discuss the topic as well. So in the pilot phase, the secondary research, together with the dialogues that we had and the network, we were able to develop a concrete survey. In the second phase, which we upscaled, the first phase took in total 1 year to complete, and the second phase also 1 year to complete. We added then what we learned from the pilot phase in order to adapt the second survey that we sent out. So the aim of the final survey was to identify the most pertinent factors that propelled the talent and the students to seek studies or employment away from their home countries. We prepared the survey in English and then provided it to all the partners so that it was translated into all native languages to ensure that we could get the information that we needed and there was no confusion or misrepresentation in language. We distributed that to the target groups and it was available via Lime survey for a total of 6 weeks in September and October of 2021. So again, the targets groups were put into two categories, students and alumni, so those that had just graduated, and professionals as well, categorized into the second group. The study analysed the responses of the two target groups in order to identify the factors related to successfully proven strategies to help reduce brain drain and encourage brain circulation. The data was uniformly translated back into English in order to statistically analyse. We used SPSS version 26 in order to derive meaningful conclusions. In general, the results of the survey for both groups indicated, of course, a very large congruence in most of the factors. Of course, for students looking to study, there is a slight difference than the professionals looking to rehouse for employment. But the three categories that we identified was creating a dialogue, communication and opportunities, and university business cooperations. These seem to be very important factors for both groups to be addressed. So the responses were, we set the questions up in a way that it was looking to see whether there was congruence between the successful strategies and the responses from the students and the professionals, and to see if we could match that somehow then to derive for ourselves, indeed, successful strategies. So creating a dialogue with the target audience, as you can see from the two pie charts here, there's different factors: the quality of life, the infrastructure, the information available, the perception of the region. These are all factors that give a pull or a push for students and professionals to move. So creating a dialogue will help identify better their challenges, their needs. And in that case, you're better able to provide a support system to get them there and to give them what that is they actually need. So creating a dialogue seemed to be very important. Communicating with local and regional authorities, communicating on opportunities, also connecting with the regional and local authorities, policymakers, to find out what is the economy and the labour market like, what are the needs and the demands, so that you're able to better attune your students and your programme to meet those needs. Universities can then identify and compile opportunities for funded projects, for startups, employment, fiscal policies, because a lack of information was really given on both from both target groups as well. So ultimately, this would aid the master program and the partners in its marketing and communication efforts as well. Then there was university business cooperation. It showed that there really is a need, and it was really stressed also from the secondary research, to match the supply and demand of talent, so that industry cooperation would provide opportunities to benchmark the content and knowledge relevant to the company demands within the region or within the country. And it also gives the opportunity for internships and increases opportunities for successful employment. And what you see underneath is a direct quote taken from the additional input section, that where a student says, we need more practical work, it can't just be theory, and that it's really hard to find internships, and that when they do, they're not in the standards, for instance, as in Germany or other EU countries. So increasing this cooperation with the university and the business. Then there's also providing opportunities to counteract that as well. The results of the OPESY Master Enter show that the dialogue with the target audience, so exactly those students that are applying for the Master Enters or those that you want to attract, is very much needed to bridge the gap in understanding for the course demands and the choice of studies. It showed that a lack of information was available to students and graduates regarding startups and funding opportunities, and that a stronger university and business cooperation will be highly beneficial for industry, for the students as well. What further steps can be taken? Well, on the basis of the results and the recommendations, which of course can be read in depth in the paper itself, on the basis of this and what we presented to the consortium partners, a gap analysis will be carried out by means of a workshop and individual work as well, to identify and measure the 3 recommendations and factors for each of the universities, so that they can see, okay, if this is what is needed, how far are we able to contribute to that, and what measures do we need in order to get us to where we should be. So therefore, an action plan will then also be developed. And this action plan will be delivered at the end of this year and will be implemented then for 2022. And the other most important thing was to centralize all the information and not just keep it university specific, but program specific, because the students travel through different countries when they travel through the master program as well. So the whole idea was to try and mitigate brain drain and move more towards brain circulation. So thank you very much for your time and attention. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.